All right, so I got a few questions in response to the last video, so I threw together a few different scenarios here to help with understanding. Now you got 4 columns here. In the first column, you've got the weight. Now you got to remember, tension is related to the amount of force that you need to produce. The more force you need to produce, as you would if trying to lift a heavier weight, the higher the tension. In the second column, you've got the reps, which is also known as the number of times that you stretch a muscle under load, which is the main trigger for the 2 main drivers of growth. In the third column, you've got the seconds per rep. Now, if you do your reps too fast, you decrease tension due to momentum, which means less stimulation. But if you do them too slow, it means the weight that you're using is probably too light, which also means less tension. So you want to find a middle ground. You want to keep the tension as high as you can. And in the fourth column, you've got the seconds per set. Now, in the first scenario, you've got 225 pounds, 10 reps, 3 seconds per rep, which means relatively constant tension, which means the set takes 30 seconds to complete. And in the second scenario, you've got the same amount of weight, half as many reps, double the amount of time to perform the reps, which means the set takes the same amount of time to complete. Which one do you think is better and why? The first one. You want to know why? Because you've stretched the muscle under load double the amount of times, which is the main trigger for the 2 main drivers of growth. So the next question is, what if we lowered the weight, did the same amount of reps, and the time under tension was double? Would that be better or worse, and why? It would be worse. And the reason being, each rep is less effective because the weight is lighter. So even though the time under tension is double, because the weight is lighter, the tension is less, which makes each rep less effective. So the next question is, if the weight is so important, what if we increase the weight, did the same number of reps, but to do those reps, we have to do them a little bit faster. We have to use a little bit of momentum. Would it be better because we're using more weight? The answer once again is no, but this time the reason is because mTOR activation and muscle damage, the 2 main drivers of growth, will be less if you decrease tension during the eccentric portion of your reps, which is what happens when you do them faster. So hopefully this helps with understanding. What matters if the goal is to build muscle is the amount of weight you lift, the amount of times you do it, that you keep the tension high while you're doing it, and how long it takes to do that doesn't mean jack shit.